several quiet hurricane seasons and a population boom. Does that spell trouble along the coast? And your eclipse pictures tomorrow on AMHQ.
We're breaking right now. A tornado warning for Plaquemines and St. Bernard parishes in southeastern Louisiana here. This is just to the south and southeast of New Orleans.
And right now it is Doppler indicated, showing some rotation with this, but you can see it is raining to beat the band right now in that area. If you are in Plaquemines Parish, St. Bernard Parish, now's the time to seek shelter. Head to the lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, the next best thing will be that interior room, a bathroom or a closet. Let's take you now to New Orleans, again, northwest of where this warning is right now. And heavy rain continues there right now as we look at the French Quarter.
Yeah, the little disturbance coming on through here, feeding on all this Gulf moisture. And this is not directly associated with what the surge of moisture we're watching coming from the southern Gulf and the Western Caribbean and the Yucatan, but still it continues to bring heavy rain. At times, rain could fall an inch plus an hour. We have those rainfall rates earlier this morning in the Galveston area. That could quickly cause some flash flooding, even in a very heavily or easily drained area like that. We can still see some, especially on the roadways, some ponding pretty quickly.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. That one's set to expire in just a few minutes, but we'll keep an eye on it. It is 5:30. Weekend Recharge rolls on. I'm Maria LaRosa.
And I'm Paul Goodlow. We're still talking about a big stretch of the East Coast there, dealing with a persistent storm. We've been dealing with this for the last 4, 5, 6 days now. We're taking a ride here along the coast of North Carolina, and you can see some of the overwash and some of the flooding on the road right there. Put the windshield wipers on. Beach erosion, a huge concern across this area. This is, by the way, is Hatteras Island in North Carolina. And combine the ocean storm as well as tonight's supermoon and the king tide, we can see perhaps 2, 3 feet higher than normal water rises because of this system, Maria, and it's slowly, and I mean slowly, trying to pull away.
And we were hearing too that some of the overwash issues that they had yesterday and this morning maybe not quite as bad as we go through the rest of the day. With that said, look at the current conditions still showing that those showers are coming on shore, some of them locally heavy, so you have that to contend with, but still the days and days and days of this push of water and those easterly winds, which are still very much in place. You also have the risk of rip currents, and look at the stretch of this because of this fetch all the way from Sandy Hook down through Cape Hatteras, but even from Wilmington on up into Nantucket, that moderate rip current threat exists there. So keep that in mind if you're at all inspired to head to the beach, because obviously the weather in the Carolinas and even Virginia Beach not terribly conducive to sitting out on the beach, but not too bad to say Long Island where you have that rip current risk.
Well, a quick update, the tornado warning for Plaquemines and St. Bernard Parish has expired. There's some good news.
Okay.
But we still have the ongoing concern about the high waves pummeling the Atlantic and even into the Chesapeake Bay.
And we have those coastal flood and high surf advisories in place, including in Hampton Roads, Virginia. And that's where we find Mike Seddell live for us. And Mike, you've got the sunshine, but what's interesting too is you've been showing us all morning, that's Chesapeake Bay, not the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. You know, coming from this area, growing up, the bay, I never saw the bay like this. Now, it does happen occasionally, but look at this. Now, we've noticed gradually the waves have eased off a little bit since high tide, which was about 2.5, almost 3 hours ago here on the Buckrow Beach in Hampton. And the sun glistening off the water, not a bad day. Temperatures now heading into the upper 70s. High tide earlier came all the way up here, almost up to the dune line. And that was the highest of the tides. Now, from this point on, with the wind easing off, the tide predictions tonight and tomorrow put the surge or the height above average about 1.5 and then dropping off about 1.5 feet. So we're not going to see as high water as we saw earlier this morning and last night and over the past couple of days. Let me show you what is on the bucket list of surfers around here. This is what I was told because this is so rare. We had surfers out in the bay earlier this morning. They're still out there right now. Meanwhile, we continue with the fact that the surf is up and people are continuing to enjoy the waves, the surfers. I talked to one surfer who had been surfing out here, you know, he's in his 50s, and he said, boy, this is so rare, and that's what he told me. This is on my bucket list. So, Paul, once again, things beginning to ease up a little bit, but 5 days of this has eaten up the beaches up and down the mid-Atlantic coast, but it's also caused has also caused surfers to have smiles on their faces here in the Tidewater. Back to you.
Yeah, definitely a day for surfing and staying inside and watching the Weather Channel. And football comes on later on tonight. So again, scattered rain showers there. We're seeing some dry weather around where Mike is here at Hampton and Virginia Beach, but the persistent flow continues to come in from the Atlantic. Is also driving those winds and the beach erosion Mike was talking about as well. Here's our setup. High pressure to the north, low pressure to the south. That easterly fetch of a wind pushing the waves there, so giving us a concern for also rip currents as well. In fact, the rip current risk and threat for rip currents up and down the East Coast sky high, slowly getting better this week. Maria?
All right, so it is going to be still a tricky few days for coastal communities this weekend's weather. But what about next weekend? Here's Dr. Greg Postel with a look ahead. Greg.
Look at what's going on in the east. I'm thinking about this more and more and why that's showing up. I think some of that might have to do with the sort of messy system coming out of the Gulf of Mexico over the next couple of days and not moving very much near the East Coast during the next 4 to 6 days. So that might lead to more cloudy and rainy conditions there. Making the weather forecast very problematic and very difficult across that part of the country. So that's why you're just not sure one way to go above or below. But I would suspect that it's probably going to be more likely below average in the east. And here's one of the reasons why. When you look at the jet stream forecast from all of the models, you don't look at one, you got to look at a whole lot of them, spaghettis, right? Each one of these lines is a forecast of basically the jet stream from a different model. And there's a lot of uncertainty here. The models are just all over the place. They don't know what's going on. And I think a lot of that has to do, as I said, with this thing coming out of the Gulf and another dip in the jet stream. So we don't really know what the weather in the East Coast will be like. But my sense is the trend will be to be more wet and cool than not. Confidence is growing for more drying and warm conditions in the west, kind of like this. But again, guys, I think a big story coming up is what is going to happen out in here later on this upcoming week and next weekend. So be careful on that with wetter and I think cooler conditions moving in. Maria and Paul, back to you.
All right, Dr. Greg, thank you so much.
Hey, well, stick around. We got the best show in town, and it's free. Just got to look up and above to see it.
If it's free, it's for me.
I hate cleaning the gutters. Have you touched the stuff? It's evil. And ladders. They have all those warnings on them. Might as well say, you're gonna die, Jeff. You hired someone to clean the gutters.
Not just someone. Angie's List helped me find a highly rated service provider to do the work at a fair price.
Everyone can shop, but members get more with reviews, live customer support, and better pricing. Visit angieslist.com today.
Sleep. Remember when it welcomed you like a friend? Then it became more elusive. But why? When you have insomnia, it may affect the wake neurotransmitters in your brain, disrupting your wake and sleep messages. Balsamra is a prescription medicine for adults who have trouble falling or staying asleep. Balsamra is thought to help turn down wake messages by targeting and inhibiting the action of orexin, a neurotransmitter that plays a central role in sending wake messages. Only Balsamra works this way.
Do not take Balsamra if you have narcolepsy. When taking Balsamra, don't drive or operate heavy machinery until you feel fully awake. Walking, eating, driving, or engaging in other activities while asleep without remembering it the next day have been reported. Balsamra should not be taken together with alcohol. Abnormal behaviors may include aggressiveness, confusion, agitation, or hallucinations. The temporary inability to move while falling asleep or waking up and temporary leg weakness have also been reported. In depressed patients, worsening depression, including risk of suicide, may occur. Alcohol may increase these risks. Side effects include next-day drowsiness.
Sleep. Ask your doctor about Balsamra.
Let's do installation. Let's check out one of these to make this easier to tackle. Because the more we bundle up here, the less we need to here. Let's do this. Get AutoCAD installation for just $29.68. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
The radiant glow of being in love.
Captured with new Stay Luminous makeup. Stay Luminous has all-day hydration plus luminosity for a long-lasting natural glow. New Stay Luminous makeup.
From Easy Breezy Beautiful CoverGirl.
Now we're talking. Hey, Hey, George is coming.
Nice.
I'll go get more stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
That one's way better.
Hello. All right, sounds good. See you soon. Guys, Randy's coming.
Perfect.
We're gonna need more chairs.
And more food.
Low prices every day on everything you need so you can turn your game day party of 3 into a great party for more. Save money. Live better. Walmart.
He's so cute. What should we name him?
New pet? Get Scrubbing Bubbles. Kill 99.9% of germs and destroy grime with Scrubbing Bubbles for 100% problem solved.
Currently in our area, 87 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms likely. High 87. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 80%. Tonight, partly cloudy. Chance of a thunderstorm. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Monday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 89. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
For the top of the hour, and we're at the top of the rock.
New York City.
New York City.
Get a rope.
Oh, looking south. Into southern Manhattan, you got the Empire State Building. Jersey on the right.
And before you get to Jersey, you got the Statue of Liberty. Little nub there. It looks huge up close, but, you know, from Midtown, looks pretty tiny.
Yeah, we got 60 degrees and all the tourists and filling up Times Square right now. Looks like you have your pick of taxis all lining up to take you somewhere. But rain-free right now.
Yes.
Right, but when you look at 60-something degrees there right now, but you look back at September, you think it was warm. Well,
yeah.
It could be the hottest September on record for New York.
And we're talking maybe 2 days, including today, below average for the entire month of September. That's how you get to record heat in September.
Right, and for some cities like New York, it looks like it's going to be a slam dunk because you see the record, the previous record there on the right. But there's the story, right? It's Portland in the running, Boston in the running, D.C. in the running. So it has certainly been a September to remember. And again, it's the high and the low. That's the average temperature that you're looking at so far there. And there are other spots, Paul, that are going to be feeling pretty toasty.
Yeah, I mean, today is, again, going to be a cooler day. Right now in New York City, it's 64 degrees, 61 in Boston, Philly, 68. We are warming up with more sunshine there. And D.C. closing in on 70 degrees. All temperatures kept below average today. The cloud cover helping to do that. But, again, it's not going to stop us from setting records in D.C., in New York City, even Boston. Meanwhile, the Midwest, a little bit warmer here. We're in store for another above average day here. So enjoy it. For Minneapolis, it's the last day. Chicago, you see, it's got a pretty warm Monday as well. But then our temperatures start to cool down here across the middle of the country. But thanks to a combination of our storm from the Atlantic and also our moisture coming in from the Gulf, that's going to keep us below average across much of this, say, quarter of the country as we head through this week. The rest of the nation still warm today, staying warm in the west throughout the week, and then slowly cooling down here in the Midwest as we head into this coming week as well. So look for our temperatures to remain 10, 15, 20 degrees above average, and then start to cool down in the Midwest. The Northeast, yeah, today a little cooler than average by about 5 or 10 degrees. Tomorrow, we start losing some of the coastal influence with the rain and the cloud cover and keeping us a little bit above average as we head into this week. Meanwhile, take a look at what happens across the Midwest. Now today, definitely on the cool side. Well, before we get there, New York City again, temperatures above average and then cooling down as we head later in the week. That's because more rain showers on the way. But at that point, by Thursday, we're into the month of October. Chicago, we are warm today, even warmer tomorrow, and then reality starts to set in. Our average high this time of the year drops from 71 today down to 70 into this coming week, and our temperatures drop into the 60s. A lot of folks here across the Shire saying, hey, bring it on. It's almost October now. We want the cooler weather. It'll definitely be in our forecast as we round out the last couple of days of September and then moving into October as well. A different season on tap. Maria?
Well, Paul, something spectacular is happening in the night sky today. Tonight. It is a total lunar eclipse of a supermoon. So we talked a little earlier with Kelly Beatty, senior editor at Sky and Telescope.
We have two things coming together. We have a total eclipse of the moon, where the moon dives into the shadow of the Earth and basically disappears. And that's happening within an hour of when the moon is closest to the Earth. That's where the supermoon comes in. But it's not going to be super in the sense of, wow, gigantic moon, because it's only going to be a little bit bigger. The real picture show here is going to be the moon disappearing, maybe turning a little bit red from the rays of sun that leak into the shadow, and then crawling out of the shadow again.
All right, let's talk details. Time it out, start to finish. When should we start peeking outside?
Yeah, time is 9:07 to 12:27 Eastern time for the whole shebang. The core, the totality when the moon is completely covered is from 10:11 until 11:23 Eastern time. You make an adjustment for your time zone because it happens at the same time for everyone.
So Kelly, again, the entire lower 48, even Alaska, Hawaii, could they also see this eclipse tonight?
Yeah, unlike a solar eclipse, wherever the moon is visible above your horizon during that time window I just gave, it is going to be a show for you. Now, if it's cloudy, or if you're stuck inside, or if you're in the other side of the world, don't sweat. Skyandtelescope.com has a webcast where you can watch the whole thing.
And wah wah, I think that may have to be our solution, because you can see the forecast, pretty cloudy. Atlanta, Memphis, Cincinnati, New Orleans, Jacksonville, Miami, San Antonio, Washington, D.C. may not have the best of views.
But again, if you do have a view, get outside. Watch this live.
It's so cool.
Don't watch it digitally. You can take digital pictures, but watch it with your eyes.
It is really cool. And wake the kids up. Yeah.
Yes. Get outside. Why? Kicking you out. No, watch the eclipse.
Not so violently, though. Just gently shaking.
You know what?
Dave, I'm sorry to interrupt. I got to take a sick day tomorrow.
Dads don't take sick days. Dads take NyQuil Severe, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
Hey neighbor, LED bulbs can last for over 20 years and save hundreds of dollars on your energy bill. So stop by your neighborhood Ace now and get an LED dimmable indoor reflector bonus pack with 2 free bulbs.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Think your heartburn pill works fast? Take the Zantac It Challenge. Zantac works in as little as 30 minutes. Nexium can take 24 hours. When heartburn strikes, take Zantac for faster relief than Nexium or your money back. Take the Zantac It Challenge.
At DraftKings, we play for glory. And for this, the Giant Check. The Giant Check is no myth. It's our trophy, and many hoist it playing our one-week games, like Dave Gomes and Adam Goulet. Are your dreams big enough to cash Giant Check? Play free in our big event this Sunday. A new fantasy millionaire every week this season. Get to DraftKings.com now and play free with promo code IMPACT. Welcome to the big time.
Tomorrow on Wake Up with Al, winterizing your home. Talking to the EPA about what you can do now to help you keep those energy bills down for the winter. That's tomorrow at 5, only on the Weather Channel on Wake.
Great time for a shiny floor wax, no? Not if you just put the finishing touches on your latest masterpiece. Timing's important. Comcast Business knows that. That's why you can schedule an installation at a time that works for you, even late at night or on the weekend if that's what you need, because you have enough to worry about. I did not see that coming.
Don't deal with disruptions. Get better internet installed on your schedule. Comcast Business, built for business.
You know me as Nota Begay III, golf analyst for NBC Sports and Golf Channels and founder of the MB3 Foundation. But my favorite title is Champion for Kids' Health. I'm living my dream, and I want to make that possible for all children. We must give kids what they need to become teachers, artists, doctors, even golfers. But dreams can get lost if our kids aren't healthy. And right now in our country, 1 in 3 kids are obese. We must do better. Join me. Help all kids live healthy now so they can build healthy futures.
.com.
Currently in our area, 87 degrees, under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms likely. High 87. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 80%. Tonight, partly cloudy. Chance of a thunderstorm. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Monday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 89. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Eleven minutes for the top of the hour. We have new video in from North Buxton in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Highway 12 open again. Officials did shut it down yesterday because of flooding. We appreciate Janet Morrow-Pate for shooting this video. Look closely at it. Anything you notice? Yeah, maybe some spots of sunshine actually coming out. So there is that, but you still have a pretty decent push of that water because of those persistent winds. But it's not just the system off the East Coast that we're watching for the tropics, but also in the Gulf of Mexico, Paul. In the Gulf of Mexico, in the Caribbean, in the Atlantic, in the Pacific, out by Hawaii. I mean, the pattern is full here. And by the way, anniversaries 30 years ago today. Northeast New York, Gloria, Hurricane Gloria. Moving on through back on this date in 1985. Wow, does time fly? 30 years ago. All right, here we go. Tropical depression Ida. Good news is it's just a depression and forecast to remain a depression, moving west-northwest now at 6 miles per hour. And the eventual progression keeps it in this direction, then moving more towards the west, then to the west-northwest. Staying a depression, but also keeping it away from and north of the Lesser Antilles. To the west of there, we have Invest 98L. Invest are areas of interest that the National Hurricane Center deems, so they give it a name. And they're giving this a 50% chance of developing as it kind of slides on towards the northwest here. Right now, estimated 25-mile-per-hour winds. And over the next 5 days, it does have a 50% chance of developing. Also, a 50% chance of not developing as well. Some of the models are picking up on whatever does come out of here, moving on towards the northwest. And eventually, we'll see some keep it out in the Atlantic and some bring it close to shore. But we also have a trough approaching the east coast, and that eventually will help this stay off the east coast. Not a huge concern right now. Meanwhile, to the Western Caribbean, moving into the Gulf of Mexico, this area, Invest 99L, has a 30% chance of developing, which also means a 70% chance of not developing. Some of the models, though, take whatever this is or becomes and brings it in the Gulf of Mexico. But the main thing with this, it's going to bring more rain into the Gulf states and into the southeast, into the Carolinas, into the northeast. So this thing, well, the impacts of it will live on for days and days now. All right, across the west coast of Mexico, say hello to Tropical Storm Marty, 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm here, moving north-northeast at 7 miles per hour. But look at all the cloud cover. Getting pretty close, some onshore with some heavy rain. But the big concern is this system will move towards the Mexican coastline here and perhaps even strengthen to a hurricane as we head into early tomorrow morning and then kind of slowly stall here. The bad news for that rain continues to dump across this part of Mexico. So flooding, landslides, mudslides, a huge concern. There are tropical storm watches up here from Lázaro Cárdenas all the way through Acapulco, Mexico here. So definitely impacting your cruise plans and your vacation plans west coast of Mexico. All right.
Farther west we go to our 50th state, Hawaii. We're watching closely Tropical Storm Nyala. 50-mile-per-hour winds moving west-southwest at 7. Yesterday it was moving west-northwest like it's heading towards the Big Island. But now it's going to move south of the Big Island and stay south as it continues to weaken. But because of its close path, we do have a tropical storm watch out for the Big Island. And the big impact will be the increased surf and some wind from this system. But it will weaken as it moves well south of the Hawaiian Islands.
This program brought to you by Citgo. Learn about Citgo Coastal Restoration at CitgoCaringForOurCoast.com.
Happy anniversary dinner, darling. I'm messing up every dish, pot, and plate to show my love. Ta-da! All this devotion only calls for a little bit of Dawn Ultra. Now even more concentrated. Just one bottle has the grease cleaning power of 2 bottles of this other liquid. You still got it, Romeo. A drop of Dawn and grease is gone.
Defiance is in our bones. New Citrical Pearls. Delicious berries and cream. Soft, chewable, calcium plus vitamin D. Only from Citrical.
We thought we'd be ready, but demand for our cocktail bitters was huge. I could feel our deadlines racing towards us. We didn't need a loan. We needed short-term funding, fast. Our Amex helped us fill the orders, just like that. You can't predict it, but you can be ready.
Another step on the journey. Will you be ready when growth presents itself? Realize your buying power at open.com.
How to make an awesome weather science show. Take 3 scientists. That's us. The scientists. Yeah. They know that. Add the forces of nature.
Ooh, that's hot stuff.
Mix in some crazy experiments.
Lit my hand on fire.
Why?
Because it's science.
Oh, that is so cool. And then...
Go! Who said science isn't fun?
3 scientists walk into a bar. Bottoms up October 4th on the Weather Channel. And join the community now on Facebook.com/3scientists.
Welcome to the AT-Ale.
The not-so-hot Atlanta.
Oh, the soggy, kind of cloudy Atlanta. The good news is not seeing nearly the amount of rainfall we saw yesterday, which is great news because we got about 28 guys with sticks beating the earth around, trying to win $10 million.
You know,
Tour
I think they can suffer through some clouds and temps into the upper 60s for $10 million. But as you mentioned, you know, we had a lot of rain. It was really rainy yesterday, but not so much now, just looking cloudy skies.
Yeah, just cloud cover there. The course, the fairways, if you hit the fairways, it could be a little soft. Greens are fantastic. They will not be a problem at all, but you got to hit the fairways to get to those greens. They're the rough. I played there a couple of weeks ago. And it was gnarly then. It's even gnarlier, more gnarly-like.
Yeah.
It's deep, and you put some rain in there. It's just, oof, it's a misery.
All right. Well, we've got weather and play on our mind here. Let's hit up Charlotte. Today, low cloudiness, the showers too, and nasty northeasterly winds for the Carolina Panthers against the Saints.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest games impacted by the weather today on Sunday. The Monday night game also has some weather impacts. If we get there, we'll show you. But let's continue on our NFL tour. We head inside, guaranteed 72 degrees outside for the Stillers, and the Rams, close to 80 degrees today in the Loop.
Kickoff at noon Central Time, and let's hit up another one. Let's head to East Rutherford, New Jersey. We've got the Jets against the EAGLES Eagles.
The Eagles.
The Eagles. Kickoff.
The winless Eagles.
Yeah, gosh, and 2-0 Jets. What?
Hey, at least you got the Pope today, Philly.
Yeah, and those that's right. You've got that going for you. No one's watching the game, right? Everyone's on the Parkway. But talk about awesome. Minneapolis, again, guaranteed great conditions inside, but beautiful
This is an
outside.
open-air stadium.
Why am I thinking
it used to be the Metrodome, but the snow with the roof collapsed and all that. They're building a new one. Should be open next season.
With it.
There's that Monday night game I'm talking about in Green Bay, the soggy tundra of Lambeau Field, as the Chiefs come in to take on the Cheeseheads.
All right, we'll have a great Sunday. Weather Geeks up next.
Let's tap into new floors in a new way. step up the savings and get moving. Yeah, like that. Let's do this. Get Pergo Haley Oak Laminate for just $2.29 a square foot. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Right on cue.
It's more than just a meal. It's Meow Mix Mealtime. With great taste and 100% complete nutrition, it's the only one cats ask for by name.
Currently in our area, 87 degrees, under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms likely. High 87. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 80%. Tonight, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Monday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 89. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome to Weather Geeks. I'm Dr. Marshall Shepard from the University of Georgia, and I'm here for part 2 of my discussion with Joe Bastardi of Weather Bell Analytics. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, last week we talked about some of your secrets of weather forecasting. We got your forecast on the hurricane season. I want to get into in this show sort of your personal background, how you got into weather. We're going to touch on the climate topic, which I know some people like Steve DiMartino and others are waiting on patiently out there and others. But Joe, tell us about how you just got into the business of weather.
Well, I think, for some of you weather geeks out there, at 3 years old, did your mom and dad have to watch you because you would go outside, lay back, and watch the sun go behind a cumulus cloud so you could watch it emerge and literally almost burn your retinas out and things like that? I mean, I remember when I was in high school, the winter of 72, 73. Yeah, that's my dad there, my brother Matty. Now, that's March 1960. Notice the March 1960 storm in New England. There's no snow. That's my Uncle Sam's house across the street. There's no snow on the top of it because the wind was so strong, just nothing could accumulate on a roof with that particular storm. And Dad wouldn't let us out in the afternoon until late in the afternoon. The storm was so nasty.
So your dad sort of was in the weather field. You're in it, and
Dad did not become a meteorologist till 65.
Right.
So what happened was he went to A&M at 61.
Texas A&M?
Texas A&M.
Okay, good program down there.
And I'll tell you, and that was amazing because he used to take me with him everywhere he went, to the weather station and things like that. So I would pick up on things and listen to him and the students. He was the oldest guy in the place at the time. He was a 31-year-old freshman on the A&M campus with a family.
You see a lot more of that now, particularly with some of our veterans who have served the country coming back to, and that's great.
That's how my dad got into it. But he always wanted to do that. And to come to find out, his grandfather on my grandmother's side of the family, okay? So his grandfather was a town weatherman in a place called Bizignano in Sicily.
Okay.
And my dad was always amazing where he'd look at the sky and he'd be able to tell me what was going on. My grandfather was like that too in some ways. I think there is a case of genetics involved.
Sure.
It's one of these things where, I tell this story that I'd stay up all night when I was in Texas. And I'd sneak out and turn on the TV to watch the snow on the TV for about 5 minutes. And my mom and dad never knew that. I'm probably going to get punished when I get
out. Well, I want to, so you've obviously got some family influences there.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about some of the meteorological influence, some of the legends that kind of have influenced you over the years, maybe a professor, a colleague in the field.
Well, when I was 5 years old, before I'd go to kindergarten, we were still in Rhode Island, Norm Macdonald was on WBZ in Boston. My dad always loved Norm.
Yeah.
Like he always said, well, this guy has this weakness, this guy has this weakness. Norm's the best of the bunch, right? So then I got a chance to work with him when I was working at AccuWeather. And AccuWeather was the ultimate weather geek place when I first went.
Sure.
It was like, this is great. It's like
Shout out to AccuWeather folks out there.
Yeah, and then, I'm not, I mean, I had Elliot, Joe Sobel, Dr. Myers was in there. John Cosette, they were all there. So all these big hitters were in there. And so here I come. I wrestled at Penn State. I'm very competitive and that type of thing. And I can remember Joel one time saying to me, "This isn't a wrestling locker room," right? And I said, "Yeah, I know that because it was a wrestling locker rooms. You don't have to worry about guys, putting water in your locker and you open it."
Well, let's talk about, because I know you spent a good deal of time at AccuWeather, a good solid member of the Weather Enterprise, but talk about sort of your transition from AccuWeather to WeatherBell.
Yeah.
And what WeatherBell is all about.
Well, I felt after all these years that, when you're in a big company, the company has to think of certain things and behave a certain way. And I felt for me that, some things in my personal life, the way I felt about the weather. Someone made a comment that, someone very close to me made a comment in a paper, said that I would do things to get attention. And I remember going, that wasn't me. If I say something, right or wrong, that's what I believe. I say what I believe, wear my heart on the sleeve.
Sure.
And it got to a point where there was a situations going on, maybe it was in my head or whatever, where I felt that I could cause some real problems. Okay, I don't like people telling me what to say, for one thing. I feel that I prepare, I stay up all night, work on this stuff. I want to say what I want to say without having to worry, is this going to cause a problem here and there?
I think we all do that. I mean, as a professor at the University of Georgia for Weather Geeks, you've got to think sort of beyond ourselves.
So what I'm trying to say is, is sometimes it's like things have to go a different way.
Sure, and I think you left on good terms. I know you're good friends with all those folks, but what is WeatherBell?
Well, listen, my outright goal is to build the best long-range forecasting center in the world. That's what I believe I want to do.
Okay.
And what we share in common at WeatherBell, everybody's a freak in there.
Right.
And I say it in a good way.
Right.
Joe DeLeo, I call him Moses of meteorology. You got the Michelangelo of meteorology and Ryan Maui Ryan's a guy that could do it all.
Right.
He could, if he said, I feel like forecasting, he could do that, okay? Tom Downs, he came to us. He's already just contributed so much with how to forecast in Europe and things. This guy's 30 years old, right?
Sure.
And then you have the CEO of WeatherBell. He wrote and this is an engineer. He was an engineer at Cornell, but he loved the weather. He loved the weather. The CEO wrote a great paper on the NAO and hurricanes. I was looking at this thing. He wrote it in high school. I'm like, holy smokes. And you come to realize, too, also in the blogs out there, which is sort of our form of peer review, where people are hitting you left and right and other people saying things, that there is a lot of love and a lot of talent out there. And so this small knit group of merry men in WeatherBell right now, that's what we are.
Yeah, we got to find you a couple of married females to go in there too, because gender equity is an issue in our field, Joe. What are your thoughts? We've talked about gender and diversity before.
I agree with that, but the thing is that I don't think anybody's working at WeatherBell except for an extreme love for the weather and the willingness. The willingness. Look, this is another thing. My mom and dad don't know this, but on February 6th. 2014 in the evening, so mom and dad don't get mad at me, I had to be taken to the hospital because I collapsed. I've been looking at something for 8 days.
Yes.
8 days. And I dehydrated myself and everything else, and I was fine after they pumped me.
Because you were passionate about this, and I think that's
Sandy. After Sandy was done,
we got it. Let's pick it up after the break. After the break, we've had a nice, pleasant conversation here, but we're going to get into a topic that Joe has been known to stir the pot on before, and maybe me as well. We're going to talk about climate. But first, our Geek of the Week.
Like father, like son, this week's Geek of the Week is Garrett Bastardi. Yes, you recognize the name? He's a meteorology student at Penn State. And when he's not challenging his dad to a forecast contest, he's out on the golf course competing in high-level amateur tournaments. Garrett loves snowstorms and severe weather, and guess what? One of his fondest memories was watching a tornado with his dad. You can't beat that, right? Congrats to Garrett Bastardi, our Geek of the Week.
He's so cute. What should we name him?
New pet? Get Scrubbing Bubbles. Kill 99.9% of germs and destroy grime with Scrubbing Bubbles for 100% problem solved.
Brought to you by Off Mosquito Protection.
Andrew, Rita, Sandy.
Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
All we need to sell Strongbow Hard Cider is ice. Oh, and an award for best tasting hard cider. You're in our shot.
No, I'm not.
Strongbow!
This kind of weather, all bets are off.
Currently in our area, 87 degrees, under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms likely. High 87. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 80%. Tonight, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Monday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 89. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weekdays on AMHQ.
I want to make sure everybody can get an idea of what's happening here. Let's talk about that. Let's lift the base of this. You're about to see something you have never seen on television before.
You tuck here, you tuck there. If you're a toe tucker because of toenail fungus, ask your doctor now about prescription keratin. Use daily. Keratin drops may kill the fungus at the site of infection and get to the root of your toe tucking. Keratin may cause irritation at the treated site. Most common side effects include skin peeling, ingrown toenail, redness, itching, and swelling. Tell your doctor if you have any side effect that bothers you or does not go away. Stop toe tucking and get the drop on toenail fungus. Ask your doctor today about keratin.
Defiance is in our bones. New Citrical Pearls. Delicious berries and cream. Soft, chewable, calcium plus vitamin D. Only from Citrical.
When your windshield needs fixed, trust Safelite. For these parents, driving around was the only way to get their baby to sleep. So when their windshield got cracked,
We can't drive this car.
they wanted it fixed right. So they scheduled with Safelite. Our exclusive True Seal technology means a strong, reliable bond every time. At Safelite, we stand behind our work. Night-night, little buddy. Because the ones you love sit behind it. That's another Safelite advantage.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
All right, so we're back with Joe Bastardi of Weather Bell. And look, Joe, I want to get, first of all, it's well known, perhaps in some circles, that you and I have not necessarily agreed on some aspects of climate change.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We still get along just fine.
Yeah,
we talk about a lot of
obviously.
things quite a bit. And, you know, we're going to have a discussion about it. I want to get your thoughts on it. We still may, and I'm sure we probably will end up disagreeing, but what are your thoughts on climate
Well, to
change?
me,
I've heard you say that it doesn't exist, right? Or have
Well,
you said
no,
that?
no,
Is that
no.
Is that an inaccurate statement?
That is very inaccurate.
Okay.
In fact, what we should have done on my side was, when everybody was yelling global warming, say, we believe in natural climate change, because the climate's always changing.
We know that the climate always changes naturally. Well, first of all, before we say that, I want to ask you that because as someone with a degree in meteorology and a PhD in meteorology, I certainly understand that climate changes naturally. So I don't understand why people tell us that. We understand that, but what's your thought on it?
Well, here's what I do, Dr. Shepard. I put the sun, the ocean, stochastic events, the natural design of the system, and I assign them weighted values.
Okay, so we talked about that last week with the analogs.
So what happens is, I am looking at the increase of 1 molecule of carbon dioxide for every 10,000 molecules of air over a 100-year period, and asking myself, how is that the climate control knob now, when in the face of the geological time scale, I can't see any linkage in it. Now, is it possible? Of course it's possible.
Right.
And so what I did, and I wrote about this. I blog on the Patriot Post, okay? I wrote about this. I am looking at 4 or 5 things that will make me know I'm wrong by 2020. One of them is...
So you talk, I want to get into this. You talk about it as a forecast, and you'll know by 2020 if you're right or wrong.
Yeah, if I'm right or wrong. Because after this El Nino, according to NCEP real-time temperatures, see, that's the other thing. NCEP takes the temperature of the Earth every 6 hours. No one seems to want to look at it, right?
Okay.
After the last 2 El Ninos, the drop-off after the El Ninos was greater than the rise with the El Ninos, according to real-time temperatures. So after this, by 2018, 2019, I should be able to see it even lower than what it was, according to real-time temperatures. So it's a simple test.
But I want to kind of come back to something you said about the various forces. But clearly, I mean, trust me, I earned my degree. I know that the sun, I know that Milankovitch cycles, which is a change in the Earth's orbit, and all of these things have caused natural variability. But the reality is that we do live on this planet because of those small percentage of greenhouse gases.
Yeah.
And without them, we'd be as cold as Mars or colder.
Yeah. So you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to quantify the mixing ratios.
Okay.
I'm looking for this. Who's going to do the great project, folks?
You want to quantify the mixing ratios
because the mixing ratio of the atmosphere, okay? And here's why. Because if you could get a hold on exactly what's going on with water vapor, for instance, drop the temperature 1 degree Celsius in the tropical Pacific versus a 5-degree rise in the Arctic winter.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to the water vapor? There's going to be what happens in the tropical Pacific is much greater than as far as the water vapor goes. What's the #1 greenhouse gas? Water vapor.
Water vapor, sure, but it's not. But would you agree though that by the Clausius-Clapeyron relationship, with increasing temperature, atmosphere holds more water vapor?
That's exactly right. So we watch what the expansion of the troposphere looks like, and I'm watching this, right?
Okay.
Because if I'm right, what's going to happen? We're going to get a flip in the Pacific like we did after the 97, 98, 57. All these El Ninos have these great flips that are waiting on the other side. But the Atlantic will be going into its colder cycle. So basically, I'm a disciple of Bill Gray. Okay,
I know.
Meridianal overturning circulation. Gray told me something in the 70s. He was right, and now I say, hey,
I got to get us out of this. But really, I would encourage people to take a look at the peer-reviewed literature. But the point I really want to get out of this is that we can disagree, and it doesn't have to be nasty.
You may be exactly right.
But we get along, and I've got to end it there, get us out of the tease. We'll be back with a rapid-fire question and answer.
When did leaving work on time become an act of courage? It's time to take back our lives. Can an SUV be your escape vehicle? You have no idea. Introducing the all-new, totally redesigned Hyundai Tucson, the official pace car of living.
You see this look on my face? That's not anger, that's hunger. So I'm gonna have a snack to make me feel better. And once I do, you'll see a look of satisfaction and contentment blossom across my face. See? Now I feel better. Make your tummy happy. Your play.
All we need to sell Strongbow Hard Cider is ice. Oh, and an award for best tasting hard cider. You're in our shot.
No, I'm not.
Strongbow!
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
It's Hamlin that will win at Chicagoland. Denny Hamlin secured his spot in the next round in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup playoffs. 16 drivers, 10 races, 1 champion. The round of 16 continues from New Hampshire today on NBCSN. How NASCAR does.
You pay your car insurance premium like clockwork, month after month, year after year. Then one night, you hydroplane into a ditch. Yeah. Surprise, your insurance company tells you to pay up again. Why pay for insurance if you have to pay even more for using it?
If you have Liberty Mutual Deductible Fund, you could pay no deductible at all. Sign up to immediately lower your deductible by $100 and keep lowering it $100 annually until it's gone. Then continue to earn that $100 every year. There's no limit to how much you can earn, and this savings applies to every vehicle on your policy. Call 1-844-530-9771 to learn more. Switch to Liberty Mutual and you could save up to $509. Call Liberty Mutual for a free quote today at 1-844-530-9771. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
.com.
This kind of weather, all bets are off.
What's up with this weather, huh?
Today's weather? Well, I'd get things done this morning because we've got some big changes rolling through this afternoon. Jim Cantori has that.
Sam, this is fascinating. Rapidly rising warm, moist air creating this huge cumulonimbus cloud. Oftentimes, the results can be electrifying. Back to you, Sam.
Great job, Jim. That should get you started on your day. So now back to you.
Back to me.
Sam Champion on the Weather Channel. Weather Precise.
Currently in our area, 85 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms accompanied by locally heavy rainfall at times. High 86. Rainfall may reach 1 inch. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 76. Winds light and variable. Chance of rain 40%. Monday, partly cloudy with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. High 89. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, back with Joe Bastardi, and I'm going to use this last segment of Weather Geeks to kind of fire off 4 questions here that I know Weather Geeks viewers want to know from Joe Bastardi. What is your biggest forecast success?
I don't know. I'm sort of like Boris Becker was.
You're too good. You've got so many.
No, that's not. I remember my losses a lot more.
Yes.
I think Sandy does stand out.
So talk about that, though. Why do you say it stands out as a...
Well, because it was a 9-day call, and the maps, when I started seeing what was going on, I said this was dropped into my lap. My father showed me how this was going to happen. With you need the deep trough, and you were going to get the shortcut storm. Always talked about the shortcut storm, and he would get tracks of other storms, and then say, it's not a question of... It'd be a question of why hasn't this happened, not why it's going to happen,
right.
Okay? I think Sandy be up there, though, after I was done, I was telling you the story before that when all the pressure came off, we're driving back, and I had to pull over on the side of the road, and I was sick.
So you got, you told me you got sick because because you put a lot into this.
I put everything.
I know
you
do, Joe, and so that's one of the things that disagree or agree with you. I respect your passion because I have that same passion. What about your biggest bust?
Well, I think January 2006. I still wake up in a cold sweat over that.
Okay.
And what was weird?
And give us the context of what happened.
It was just a brutally warm January after a quick start to winter in 2005. And the other thing was, it's because of my own selfishness. I look at the weather very differently now. I put myself in the arena of the good Lord above and do what I can, given what God gave me. But at that time, I was like, you just came off this season, this hurricane season. We had a pretty good season forecasting, and now you're just blowing it. And it's, to a guy that has a wrestling background, the last match is everything. And what happened was that just took a lot of the momentum out of what I believed I was trying to accomplish, and moving forward from what my father and mother had set up before me and their parents before them. The object is you move the name on, you move that family type thing on. So they're just blowing everything over here.
Absolutely. What about, is there a storm or a weather situation that is most memorable to you in your career?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, my dad, in 1967, telling me the Hurricane Doria was going to back in from the east.
Yes.
And then it was just absolutely amazing. Friday morning, get me up, and there's a cirrus coming in from the east. Now, what happened with that storm that made it memorable was we were playing the Pleasantville Tornadoes that night on the bay. I'm fourth in on the kickoff.
Yes.
And there's 40 gusting to 60 out of the northeast. The water's lapping up over there. I can see that. And so I'm down. The guy's taking the ball around the other side. I decided to look up in the lights, and some kid lays me out.
Oh!
And I got an earful after that.
Right.
But that was very memorable. And
for that hit alone, that was probably.
But 67 too. The snowstorm. I'm talking about what influenced the snowstorm. In 64, we had a snowstorm in Texas that Dad told me about was coming 2 days away. College Station, for goodness sakes. I went into school, and then it happened, and I was like everybody's hero.
Right. Now, before we get you out of here, I have a couple more questions. One, in 30 seconds, what would you tell the next generation of meteorologists?
Foundational work is extremely important. That the lust for the weather cannot exceed the love for meteorology.
That's tweetable. That's tweetable.
And I'll tell you, it was a problem with me. There were only two places you could find me, in the weather station or in the wrestling room.
Yeah.
Okay? And it was fortunate.
And I was on a tennis court.
Yeah, so well, it was fortunate, but the discipline, when I started wrestling again, the discipline just carried right over, and my grades improved. But I was always just looking at the weather rather than listening and trying to understand what an integral or derivative really meant.
We've got about 25 seconds here. What's next for Joe Bastardi?
Just keep going as hard as I can, as long as I can, in front of the good Lord above that gave me the chance to do this.
And I think that's right. I want to thank you for coming on. I wanted you on this show because I wanted people to see out there in Twitter land and everywhere else that we can have credible conversations. Yeah. We can agree, we can disagree, find those common grounds, and let's remove all the vitriol out of the discussion.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? No one knows tomorrow except the good Lord above. The rest of us just try to do the best we can with.
We are going to end it on that. Thank you so much. And Weather Geeks is on Twitter at WXGeeks, TWC, and we're also on Facebook. See you later.
Nothing artificial. Just real roasted turkey. Salt, pepper, carved thick. That's the right way to make a good turkey sandwich. The right way to eat it is however you eat it. Panera. Food as it should be.
Hey, Ted. Hey. How's it going? Good. How you doing? Better.
Life's bleachable moments need Clorox bleach.
Now we're talking. Hey, George is coming.
Nice.
I'll go get more stuff.
Yeah, can't wait to see it.
That one's way better.
Hello. All right, sounds good. See you soon. Guys, Brandy's coming.
Perfect.
We're gonna need more chairs.
And more food.
Low prices every day on everything you need so you can turn your game day party of 3 into a great party for more. Save money. Live better. Walmart.
Did you know only 1% of supplements have earned the USP mark, an independent certification for quality and purity? I recommend Nature Made because they've earned the most of any brand.
Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended letter vitamin brand.
Trick or treat! Thank you!
And when you bundle your home and auto insurance through Progressive, you'll save a bundle.
Jamie.
Right.
Make a bad bundle joke. A buck goes in the jar.
I guess that's just how the cookie bundles. Now you're gonna have 2 bundles of joy.
I'm not pregnant.
I'm gonna go.
There you go.
Bundle bee coming. It was worth it.
Saving you a bundle when you bundle. Now that's Progressive.
Happy anniversary dinner, darling. I'm messing up every dish, pot, and plate to show my love. Ta-da! All this devotion only calls for a little bit of Dawn Ultra. Now even more concentrated. Just one bottle has the grease cleaning power of 2 bottles of this other liquid. You still got it, Romeo. A drop of Dawn and grease is gone.
All we need to sell Strongbow Hard Cider is ice. Oh, and an award for best tasting hard cider. You're in our shot.
No, I'm not.
Strongbow! Available now on the Weather Channel on demand. For millions of years, weather has shaped our world. But weather also created...
What is that?
...something else.
This weather adds to an incredible biodiversity. Do not move.
Find new episodes of Natural Born Monsters in your on-demand menu before they air Mondays at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 85 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms accompanied by locally heavy rainfall at times. High 86. Rainfall may reach 1 inch. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 76. Winds light and variable. Chance of rain 40%. Monday, partly cloudy with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. High 89. Here's our 7-day outlook.
What's up with this weather, huh?
Today's weather? Well, I'd get things done this morning because we've got some big changes rolling through this afternoon. Jen Delgado, let's show her where these storms are coming from.
We'll be seeing some heavy rains this afternoon, possibly causing some flooding downtown. So the kids' soccer practice, well, likely it's going to be a wet one, Sam.
That should get you started on your day. So now back to you.
Back to me.
Sam Champion on the Weather Channel. Weather precise.
It's Hamlin that will win in Chicagoland. Denny Hamlin secured his spot in the next round in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup playoffs. 16 drivers, 10 races, 1 champion. The round of 16 continues from New Hampshire today on NBCSN. How NASCAR does playoffs.
On this episode of Real Rivals, a winner-takes-all tournament raises the stakes between 2 captains.
George, why you look so serious?
That's called my game face.
Somebody get the leader on that fish.
And a captain with rookies on board
Steady, wine steady.
The biggest fish of my life.
faces unfriendly weather and disastrous mechanical issues.
There's 150 gallons of water in the boat. You get too much, you could sink.
Down in the Florida Keys, hotshot captains battle each other for monster game fish. But the only thing as fierce as the changing weather conditions is the competition and the massive egos.
This is my office out here, my ocean.
I'll spank you like a little baby. I can see the hate in your eyes, Scott.
You're shooting bottle rockets at us.
Look at what we got here. I'm getting ready for a sailfish tournament tomorrow, and one of my biggest clients, Mark Sherry, is sponsoring me. And who swings by to mock my stress? None other than the leisure king himself, Scott Stanzik. It must be so nice to have so much money that you can just go golfing in the middle of season. Man, good every week.
Tomorrow, George and Augie are in a tournament together. I figured I'm just going to go work on my golf swing, give those guys a break from trying to keep up with me. And I don't just mean on the water. I can go out with any girl, anytime, anywhere I want. Really? Have a good day.
I wish I was him. Oh, that's God's gift to women, brother.
I thought I was, until this guy came up.
You might be, but at least you don't tell everybody.
He's a doctor, right?
Yeah, that's the doctor. Yeah. Proctologist. All right, let's go. We are in a tournament today, the Islamorada Captain's Cup Sailfish Tournament. We've got Mark Sherry, Justin, Timmy, Ross, and Raymond.
First prize is $10,000. Second prize is a set of steak knives. And third place is you're fired. If you're not first, you're last in this tournament. So we'll take the money.
So we're going to go try to catch a few sail dogs. There's only 6 boats competing in this tournament, and from our marina, it's just me and George. Yeah, I'd like to beat George today, man, but have you seen the boat he's on? It's going to be tough to beat him today.
Today, I'm the captain for my most important client, Daniel Hassan. I charter boats for Dan a large portion of the year, and he expects nothing but the best. Daniel asked me to help him with the layout of his new boat. The boat's worth $3 million, and it's built to fish, so there's no excuses for anything but a win.
My name is Daniel. I used to work at Goldman Sachs. I started a technology company, sold that off, started a pharmaceutical company. Always going, keep moving. If you're one way in your business life, usually the same way in your private time. So if we see a fish, we're going to get to before anyone else does. Because if we do well today, all the other boats are going to know that the rest of the season they got to look out for us.
This boat is made for fishing, and Daniel expects to win, so I feel that pressure.
Hey guys, good morning. Dustin? Good to meet you. Nathan, good to meet you. I'm Nick. Today my clients are 2 cousins from Ohio, Dustin and Nate, and they've never caught a sailfish before.
Down here, last year I actually proposed to my wife, and then the next day we went fishing, for sailfish. I didn't get any, but I saw your boat, the B&M, catch 2 sailfish that day. So I told my wife, if I'm going to catch a sailfish, it's going to be with this guy right here. So that's pretty much why we're down here.
Well, I'm glad you came back here, and hopefully we'll live up to the reputation. The problem with first-timers is we may not spot a fish, and if we do, we may hook it and they may lose it.
Mark Sherry has dumped $4 grand into the entry fee in this tournament.
I'm Mark Sherry from New York City, and I'm a restaurateur, and I like to pack my restaurants, and on the side I like to fish, and I like to have a good time, and I like to be associated with great people.
You know, Mark is a big deal. He sends me pictures every week of him with this celebrity and him with this superstar and this and this. So it really makes me feel good that he likes to fish with me. It's very important that we do not have losing streaks with Mark Sherry.
At 4 o'clock, have your cameras ready. We're going to win this tournament.
There's no wind at all. I mean, there's just barely a light breeze, and we're going to try these extra light wind kites. The way they're designed, they really fly well in light wind. We like to fly our kites about 100 yards off the boat and suspend our baits from those kites with special riggers. But the winds are flat right now, so we're going to actually have to use helium balloons to keep our kites up in the air.
A lot of air.
See, that's why we